Ham. Now, just like Abraham, just like one of Noah's sons called Ham. Pay attention to that, folks. Etymology, linguistics, and tetragrammaton is very, very important. And I love sharing that with folks here, not only in Guyana, but in the 22 countries that I've lived and traveled. With me in the studio, the one and only, Mr. I like to use initials at times. Mr. TW. Let's put our hands together for Mr. TW. Now, I use the letter W because that's what we use when pronouncing and announcing your name. Washington.
Yes.
However, when you typing it and writing it, it's not two W's, it's two V's. They're putting together there, aren't they?
Yes.
The Germans would say Washington.
Washington.
Washington. Brother, welcome
Thanks
to
for having me. Thanks.
Creative Family with you. What's been happening on the streets of Georgetown concerning matrimony that you learned so far?
Well, great night, Guyana, and happy Republic. happy Republic.
Cooperative.
No, come on. Happy Republic, but it is a cooperative Republic we're talking about. So we're together as one because enough people don't even know that Guyana have so much one in our coat of arms. One people, one nation, one destiny. You see how much one? You see how much? So
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. And you mentioned a thing earlier about the matrimony started in Georgetown. Nope. Matrimony started in Linden.
Hey!
In Linden. And the word matrimony is an Amerindian word which stands for matrimony. Is Amerindian. Burnham learned that word from the Amerindian. The emperor learned that word from the Amerindian. So at least we could emphasize a little more upon the cooperative republic. So when the emperor went and gained republic from his majesty, the queen, he went to his majesty, same way.
Who is this majesty you're speaking of you went to? Because I never take listening audience for granted because I have no idea. Every time a television program comes on, there are new viewers, and people may not be educated or well informed of whom you're speaking of. Who is this majesty?
I'm speaking about Haile Selassie.
Hey! Emperor. All right.
Emperor.
And what country was the emperor of?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Come on. This is our story, not his story. We're learning here.
So, the emperor, both emperors, elder emperor, young emperor. Information received, and that is how we have the cooperative republic of Guyana. Most people don't even know the history that we're supposed to be celebrating.
And why is that?
Because I think, for me, I would say that people lost.
But what made them lost in the first place?
I wouldn't be able
Could it be because not in the curriculum in the school system?
Well, you said it. Because it is not.
If it's a start, then they wouldn't be lost. Because who taught us about Christopher Columbus? Columbus.
Oh my gosh. And I debate that. I say, you tell me that somebody avoids that happened somewhere and this guy come and meet people. But let me don't forget into that. We celebrate this.
I'm glad you said because we're going to a musical video and we're coming forward to more information concerning Creative Family with you. Folks, get on the phone and call folks and tell them to watch this program because it's very informative. Matter of fact, it's beyond informative. It's beyond education. And they're calling us on the phone already to find out more about the program. Stay with us, okay? Thank you. We're going to musical video and come forward. Ashalamti. All right. We'll send it to you, okay?
Apparently like the video,
okay, good.
The video is not ready, so we could, at least you could.
Yes, okay. All right, good.
Get some more information about the emperor and the matrimony. So it started there, but Doc, you was on the road today.
Yes.
What's the feeling out there, man?
Well, let me tell you something. First of all, I'm glad I went out there to get the experience. I mean, and I'm so thankful for you for setting the facts straight about where matrimony first started. Because when you were talking, I was saying to myself, so who switched it? Why is it acknowledged first in Georgetown, right? Instead of Linden, where it first got started?
Well, for the viewers that now tuning in, remember, if you host an event, would you host it in a small contingency or would you host it in a capital? And you mentioned Berbice, you mentioned Essequibo, you mentioned Linden. So there's our matrimony because as a youth growing up, we know about Lynn Mine, where we used to get 1,000 strong. When Homer and all of those individuals come in together, matrimony was about everybody getting together and do what they got to say. It's thousands you move in. So it would move from Linden to Georgetown, but now, remember now the capital, so you focus directly to the capital because enough people don't even know that Georgetown wasn't the first capital of Guyana.
That's so true.
So,
That's right.
so from we switching, this is how we could move. So we're dealing with facts. And if you put a lie upon a truth, would it change? Would that change?
Well, I like that. I like how you say it, but I tell you what, you can try putting a lie upon the truth, but truth can still remain truth.
Because the truth can't expire. Truth can't expire. There is no expiration.
It's not going to take any other form.
So you could throw garbage. You could throw garbage on it as much. But remember, it has to come out here. And mind me to mind you.
I like that.
It's the same way.
But let me put it this way, because you asked about being in Georgetown. What I admire the fact is that there were children out there, a lot of children. And I think if anybody really benefit the most from this particular program, Matrimony, I would think it's the students at school, not necessarily on the streets, of the performance. Because prior to what I've seen on this day, we're talking from since Monday, the students have been geared up having activities at school. So I am so proud for this administration for pushing matrimony from an educational point of view.
Cultural,
cultural, educational, cultural point of view within the schools. Yes.
Because that, for me, then is when I really get to know that this is what they're dealing, diverse the culture. Every holiday that come about, you could wear your culture. Come out so we know, because it's one people, one nation, but we are 6 race. We are 6 race. So every holiday, we show we culture. That is how it's supposed to be. But this is the month of the emperor. This is the month of the emperor. So we celebrating the emperor to the fullest. And that is what we're sticking to our agenda.
So in other words, it's just what you're saying. So I didn't pay attention to what you were just saying here. Because I met some students who joined the minibus, and they were all attired representing the 6 ethnicities of Guyana groups,
yes.
Right? And the interesting thing is that I met some children who are Guyanese of African heritage, and they told me that they represented the Portuguese.
Well,
No, this is interesting, it's interesting. Apparently they didn't have Portuguese children in the classroom in the school.
So they go fire us or the
No, they didn't have that. At the school we're talking right in South Bend.
So they just turned up as Portuguese. Lovely. That's nice. That's so
And
lovely.
I was like, they weren't leaving anyone out. And I see some beautiful girls of the diaspora of Africa, like I say, Guyanese of African heritage.
Yes.
Okay, showed up as Indians
That's
with the sari and I was like, wow! And if you see the beauty in that,
Yes.
if you see the beauty in that. So they were apparently at that particular school, there weren't children, and if there were, perhaps a few that is of
Or that ethnic background.
they're probably saying we are Christians, whatever it is, and we don't want to be part of that. So the school said we can still have it, which is good that they improvise.
That is great. That is great.
As for me,
did you see the older folks now? Because we know the younger ones are there. Did you see the elderly ones, them the granny which felt that?
I didn't see that. I wish I did, because right past we picking up students in the schools, and I was asking the students in the school what your apparel represent. And that's how I learned when the boy says, I represent the Portuguese that came to Guyana. I was like, wow. So I learned from the student. But
Did you take any pics of it?
Of this day when I was on the streets, I didn't see.
Make the little history slip you.
No. This is what I
it?
saw. That's why I didn't video.
Okay.
See, what I saw, I said I would not video and put into the program or even show, because what I saw was what's in the crowd, what's parading, and what's on the sidewalk.
It's too different.
Two different.
Too different.
But I didn't get. They didn't make any. They didn't get to him. I didn't get that.
It didn't blend in.
It didn't blend.
It is not blending because we know much. We know much that the float parade.
Right.
That is what you would normally go out there for.
Right.
You would normally go out there, and then when the float done, you don't know you're gonna go. You're gonna eat here. You're gonna deal with this. It says a family gathering. Like what the Amerindian did, matrimony, there's what the word matrimony came in.
Right.
Came in. So you do the work and you celebrate after all of these hard work. That is what you do. So it's a celebration. So the big gyration, it is there, but remember, they're the little kids. They're the elderly ones.
The little who?
The little kids.
The baby goats? Who the little kids up in this program? Children. The little pickaninny? Little pickaninny?
Thank you for your correction. The little children.
Children.
So for the little children.
To come on to me, not kid, baby goats.
And forbid them.
Not.
Such as
the kingdom.
All right. So.
I ain't want to see no goat up there down here, whatever it is.
So,
you know.
so those are the things. So we lose from that little heritage.
Yes.
We lose that heritage. So it's dies well. We need to tap in. We need to tap into that. Because tonight, I know most people wouldn't even be viewing the television. They would be out there.
And for those who viewing,
for those who viewing, thank you. Thank you for having us in your home.
Yes.
For having us in your home tonight on this day.
Let's take a pause, okay, for the good cause. And we'll come forward as we show more about Emperor LFS Burnham. You know, it is being said he banned flour. We'll talk about that.
Oh.
As we go to musical videos and come forward, all right?
Yes.
On the program. Wow.
Yo, hit it. Stu-dum-dum-dum-dum. Hey. Yo, alright. I'm feeling the vibe already. I ain't care with nobody. My costume done bed already, and I ain't focused on nobody. Look temptations to the left, look temptations to the right. Oh Lord, please help me contain myself, 'cause I might just summon somebody. I come to felt alone. My girlfriend, she's at home. Oh Lord, tonight I felt in alone. I get in the zone. Yeah, I'm taking a drink and I'm whining alone. I get in the zone. Yeah, I'm taking a drink and I'm whining all by myself. I'm drinking all by myself. I'm lining all by myself. Don't need nobody to make me happy. Oh, all by myself. I'm drinking all by myself. I'm lining all by myself. Don't need nobody to make me happy. Oh, I'm feeling so drunk already. Still not going away. Nobody. My girlfriend, she's on my mind, so I ain't going with nobody. Look temptations to the left, look temptations to the right. Oh Lord, please help me contain myself, 'cause I might just summon somebody. I come to felt alone. My girlfriend, she's at home. Oh Lord, tonight I get in alone. I get in the zone. Yeah, I'm taking a drink and I'm whining alone. I get in the zone. Yeah, I'm taking a drink and I'm whining all by myself. I'm drinking all by myself. I'm lining all by myself. Don't need nobody to make me happy. Oh, all by myself. I'm drinking all by myself. I'm lining all by myself. Don't need nobody to make me happy. Oh, to make me happy. Oh, yeah. I'm alone, yeah. I'm alone now. Yeah, Stu-dum-dum-dum-dum. Hey. 'Cause tonight I felt in alone. I get in the zone. Yeah, I'm taking a drink and I'm whining alone. I get in the zone.
Greetings and welcome forward to Creator Family with You. My names are Dr. Richard Yates, and in the studio we have the one and only, my beloved brother, TWV.
TWV, yes.
TWV, I like that.
TWV,
Yeah,
TWV.
that's how you like. Which stands for?
Travis Washington.
Hey! You know, the joke about that WV thing is that the students in the afternoon, when they meet me in front of Pressy Photo Studio, because I have a whiteboard there and I do street grass matics, right?
Yes.
And I asked them, I said, look across the street. What do you see? Do you see a sign that says, where is it? Wholesale. I said, what's the first letter? They all said W. I said, take a look again. You know, I said, take a look again. And they keep saying W. I said,
No.
does that
Yes,
look
yes,
too
yes.
used to you? And then they
V.
say, oh my God, it's two V's. It's double V. And it's always interesting that we're talking earlier about the school system.
Yes.
And if the children are not educated about Mashramani and about the history of Guyana, etc., we just go along with the flow. This, yeah, and this is why I'm so thankful for President Granger and Prime Minister Nagamutu that in the year 14...
Give it up for the cohesion.
Yes,
Give it
yes,
up for the cohesion. We showing that we could work together.
Yes, exactly. And I think it was the year 14, they called 2014, that they were
Yes.
campaigning. And one of the slogans that they were campaigning about, folks, was that reform education they were talking about.
Reform.
Reform.
Yes.
And that's why the education system needs to be reformed, because if it's not reformed, we keep going down, making the same mistakes, lack of communication based on words of entrapment. And let me give you an example. I was in Ethiopia when they were talking about reform education.
Yes.
It's when I was in Ethiopia and I saw that Mr. Granger and Mr. Nagamutu was campaigning on those principles. You know what? I decided to say, I'm coming home. 'Cause I wanted to-
Return. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because that's what I'm about. Since I returned home to Ghana in the year 97,
Yes.
because I left here in 77. I am. And I returned in 97.
And it's from 7, 9.
Oh, good for you. Your parents probably even thinking about you then, right? So what happened is that when I returned to 0 years after,
Yes.
I came home so enthusiastic about sharing what I've experienced in,
Out there.
yeah, in 18, they call 18 countries, living and amalgamating in Europe, especially in Germany, in Austria. We're talking in also Holland, wow, in Nijmegen, yes, in Holland. Most of all, in a lot of countries within the Caribbean, Antigua, Dominica, St. Lucia, most Caribbean folks are recognizing me for the grassmatics person, especially Grenada and those, even Trinidad.
Grenada.
Right,
Especially
especially Grenada. But the reality is this, I came home excited to be part of reform education. And the previous administration fought me, make sure that I would not push this stuff in the school system, the grassmatics. We talk away in 1997.
And 1997, to be corrected, that is the year that I came out of school.
Wow.
Exactly, 97. Out of school.
What school you attended in Georgetown?
No.
Oh, I just threw a curveball there. I just threw a curveball there. to say-
Multilateral.
Multilateral.
Linden
That's-
multilateral.
Specifically, Wismar.
Wisdom.
Hey, come on now. Who built that school? Who established that school? No,
The emperor, the
Thank you.
emperor,
Thank
the
you.
emperor. And he didn't do one. He didn't do one.
That's right.
He didn't do one.
No, he didn't.
He didn't
It's
do
kind
one.
of 1 mile is also his work.
He didn't do one. So we keeping it on the republic, the cooperative republic. So the emperor did a lot of things. And if we stick into history, we have so much history that we could build upon.
Yes.
We could educate
Yes.
our
Yes.
own.
Yes.
Because we have some of the great engineers. We have some of the great engineers, and not for say that is in Guyana, no. We're talking about Guyanese engineers
Living up.
that is abroad.
Yes.
That is abroad that want to return. I want to return. So for the ones them that return, because I'm an engineer, enough people never really get to see that I do certain work. But I would be criticized for a lot of things. A lot of things. But if you want to test it, to know the ability, we would come and fairly give you a fair chance to test yourself. Because that is what we do. We speak the truth. And the truth remain one way. Speak the truth and it can't change. No time at all. So you was getting a little fight, but remember, it's cohesion and we celebrating togetherness, and this is what we want. So for the viewers that watching, let them know that create a family with you would always be around to identify the truth.
Wonderful.
The truth. That's all we identify in the truth.
You know, I'm glad you said that because when I came home in the year 97, which is 20, they call 20 years after I left in 77, I recall I was one of the first person in Guyana that was introducing social cohesion. And I had designed a calendar, folks. I designed a calendar that titled The Great Kings and Queens of Africa to India. Wow. For those who watching this program, remember that. And I had a Clem Davis show, which is on Shama TV at the time.
I remember Clem.
Yeah, Clem
I remember
Davis,
Clem.
right.
Great. Yo, those guys, give it up for Clem.
Yeah, and Clem was the first person that looked at it, and he was so flabbergasted over it. And he says, wow, great kings from Africa to India? Yes. And that's what is not taught in this country. What Africans and Indians have in common, and what the children of Africa that live in Guyana and the children of India that live in Guyana, the things that we have in common. This, fortunately, is the word. We've been taught that we are not the same and that we should despise and disrespect each other and be xenophobic is the word, folks, each other. When I came home in 97, I brought this calendar showing you the great accomplishment of Africans and the things we have in common.
Together.
Together.
You know, and it's the togetherness. Look, like for example, the team that I have for this 49 years. What is it? What's the team about? The team that I have for MASH. Every year they have a team, but this team, you listen to the team?
Apparently it didn't hit home.
It didn't hit home.
It didn't hit home. Tell the folks what the team is for this year, for those who didn't even heard it.
Victory. Victory in mind when you're celebrating MASH 49. So it's victory. It's victory we celebrated. So for the ones them who don't know that we have this victory. So it is there. And we can't do it by one. We have to do it together. That is why we're celebrating our mushroom money.
Wow. You know, it's nice to hear such a young guy like you who was born in 1977. A young brother like you who was born in 1977 is so versed.
I had that, and the reason for me getting so versed is that at multilateral.
Hey!
at multilateral, I knew I had a problem.
Who was the head teacher at the time when you were there?
One of the, you had several head teachers, I think it was Miss Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
You had Miss Barnes. Yeah.
Were you there when Mr. Thomas was there?
No, Mr. Thomas is there right now.
No, when you there, were you there?
No.
Oh, no, he wasn't. When you left, he wasn't there.
When I leave,
Yeah.
Thomas wasn't
Yeah,
there.
because I met him there.
I know, well, let me tell you, Cleveland Thomas.
Yeah, Cleveland.
I know him because I grew up second alley, he grew up third alley.
What?
I know his brother, his mother, she, the first woman that identify, I said, you know where St. Thomas more at? That was his mother, Miss Thomas. I know him personally. But when with the same Columbus, and I kick against him. So they send me down to the library because we have a library. I said, you give me anything to read with West Indians and I will write about that. And they sent me down to the library and we had a book named The Great West Indians. And from I read that book, there's where I know about Sparrow, Burnham, Lord Christian. The whole works. The whole works.
Wow.
The whole
That
works.
library was
multilateral library.
Gotta give it up,
So
gotta give it up.
it's reading propel me to that.
I'm glad you said it because the young people watching this program, and they watch it because they realize that I'm hosting it. And normally, a lot of students I have the engagement with from Monday to Friday in front of Percy Photo Studio, tutoring them in grass, mathematics, and about how to think. And I told them about this program to view it.
Yeah.
So a lot of them watching. So what you're just saying is so necessary for young students to learn that if you are bored in a classroom, go to the what?
Library.
Why do they call it library?
No.
You mean the study hall?
The study hall. The study hall. Words to trick. Words to trick.
You know what?
And to suppress.
That's so true. You know what the student said to me? He said, you know why they call it library? Because I like to answer students, you know, how questions pertaining to how to think instead of what to think. And I asked the student, I said, why they call it library? And the third grader said to me, because you know what? I think sometimes they bury some lies in there, you know. No. Look at the young people, it says, because lies is what they can bury, and the information is in there that they bury. You got to go there and dig it up.
You have to go and research
and search first, because seek and ye shall.
Fine.
Okay, once you seek and you find something, you have to go back again for it because you already got it.
There, it is
you
there.
got to research it because you already searched for it. You got it.
So there's no research.
There's no research.
There's no research. Thank you for that correction.
But listen, and it's not even a correction, it's an enhancement about searching. That's all it is.
It's about searching.
I think you can research is appropriate word when you search for something, you got it, right?
All right.
And you lost it.
Facts. Every looking.
And you go looking for it. Yeah, that's research.
Every looking for the facts. Because remember now the facts. Facts is facts. Truth is truth. So every researching, I would research upon that to verify that the facts would tell me the truth. That's what I would research. So I would research the facts to verify that is the
Exactly, because
truth.
if you have it, then you can research. If
Yes.
you don't have it, you can't research. People keep telling me, Dr. Yates, you know, we need to do our research. I said, did you ever search in the first place? If you never searched before, I can know we used to do all over. But it's interesting you bringing out the point indeed about a place, which I like to call study hall, that they call library. That giving an example, my mother raised 8 children in our home. My father was in England at the time, with the intention of sending for the whole family to come to England.
That is like my grandfather. My grandfather leave and went to England and started new.
Wow. Wow. Yep. The folks in the audience said the same thing too? No, that was the common thing again, huh? That was the escape?
I think that started from the brain drain.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say because at those times, the intelligent one would mostly head out more faster and leave the family behind, because from you leave the foundation, you know that it's going to spread out to be something great. But some of them, psychological effect that it leave upon some of the parents, mash them up.
So when my mom was raising those 8 children on her own, what she did is she was a hunter for books. She would go to people's garbage bin and stuff to throw a book. Yes, my mom did that. And she would clean it up, bring it home, and she created a study hall in our home.
Yes.
You know, that most people call a library. So for me, we grew up in that kind of environment. You know, we take a break, we come forward. We take a break, or we take a break? No, folks, we ain't going nowhere. We're right here.
Musical.
Yeah, we're going to...
Seeing that is Mashroomani, and we're in the Mashroomani movement. So
let's do that. Okay? Because we first flowing. And when we got Mr. TWV up in here.
Wow, in the hot seat. In the hot seat.
You know that we flow. So we'll go. The operator's going to give us an opportunity to, whatever they want to play up there will be great for the program, enhance the program. Yeah. We flowing with it. Okay? Whether it be a musical video. Oh, I did mention about Burnham, right?
Yes, you spoke about the emperor.
Yes.
And I heard, overheard that you said that he banned something.
I did say so.
So I want to know, who is it he banned?
That's what they said.
I thought it's what you said.
No, don't start a rumor up in it.
No, it
I
wasn't.
said they said Burnham banned flower. And I just want to learn, indeed, how is it possible that Burnham can ban flower when this video, you talk about facts, right?
Yes.
Okay, facts and truth. So if we have that queued up already, we're going to it. If not, let's watch this musical video and we're coming forward with more guests and more information. All right? Thank you.
Lord, I can take it no more. Open your eyes and see what is happening to me. I'm on my knees, I'm praying that someday I'll be set free.
From our senior comrade and one who was very close to Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham. Over the years, he has outlived him and therefore may have much to tell us about him, and therefore it's indeed a privilege to be asked and an honor to respond in allowing the former Speaker of the House, a life member of the party, Comrade Station Ryan, say a few words.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the head table, comrades all, I am not here to extol the virtues of Fort Burnham, but I want to correct a myth which is perpetuated over the years and which the PPP has made great movement of. I wish to say, and perhaps when Rebel comes back, he may kind of calypso against me. I think this myth must stop, and I think Burnham Foundation is at fault to allow this thing to be perpetuated. Burnham never banned flour. Would he ban flour when most black people or all black people use bread? But the Indians were able to say, look, the flour was banned because Indians use flour when they have their religious functions. And let me tell you what really happened. Comrade McDavid knows this, and he should have done something to stop it being perpetuated all the time. One, we don't grow flour here. We don't grow wheat here. We have a flour mill, and we have to bring the wheat from abroad to have it done here and milled into flour. Some of you may not know what is PL 480. PL 480 was a partial grant by the United States government to Guyana. Instead of giving us money, they used to give us in the form of wheat so that it could be milled here into flour. When Comrade Burnham, our founder leader, decided to nationalize bauxite and sugar, the Americans and Europe became very angry with him. And at that time also, Dr. Jagan said he was giving Burnham critical support to nationalize these two industries. And they said, look, we have no wheat to send to you. You got to buy it. In other words, they suspended the PL 480 and no wheat came to Guyana. Well, Burnham had a very good Indian friend, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India. He turned to her when they said they will not give us any wheat unless we pay for it, and he asked for assistance. Now, I was the solicitor for Bank of Baroda. In those days, they had solicitor and barrister. Today, they only have attorney at law. So, Mrs. Gandhi got the bank. Now, may I also say that the Bank of Baroda is a government bank, a government Indian bank. It's not Sesnarain Bank, it's a solid bank. And what happened? When Baroda in New York said, look, we will guarantee the payment of it, they said, no, we don't want no Kuli Bank to guarantee the money. We want an American bank. Mark, the American government refused to send the wheat, and because they failed to send the wheat, we couldn't mill it into flour. When at last we were able to get Barclays Bank, at that time they had a branch here, and they feared if they turned it down, we might have nationalized the bank then. What took place was Barclays Bank agreed to give this money for us to buy the wheat. And you know what happened? From the time they got the money to buy the wheat, the next thing that happened, the ship had already left. And that is why it was said, Burnham banned flour. It wasn't that he banned flour, he had no money to buy the flour. It's like if you go in the stores and you want a tin of sardine and you don't have the money, you can't get it. It's a simple story like that. But credence, misinformation, and whatever word you want to say, Burnham never banned flour. He hadn't the money to buy it, and as a consequence, the wheat did not come to Guyana for him to have it milled and for it to be sold in Guyana. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's here again, the 9th annual Ghana Day celebrations in this 5th year of International Decade for African People, Sunday, March 3, 2019. The action starts at the Square of the Revolution with the Queen's Parade at 9:30 in the morning, assembly time 8:30 a.m. It proceeds along a guided route into Congress Place, Sophia for the celebrations from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Guest speakers:
freedom is not to remove the chains from our feet and our hands. It is making the brains free of previous influences.
Reflect on the progress which we've already made, the struggle, the sacrifices, the punishment.
Secondary school education competition, poetry, drumming, dancing, arts and crafts, cultural foods, and more. The 9th annual Ghana Day celebrations, Sunday, March 3, Congress Place, Sophia. Adults $500, children 11 years and under $200.
Welcome forward to Creator Family with You. My names are Dr. Richard Yates, the host of Creator Family with You, and I want to say thanks to Mr. Travis Washington for making this program possible. Folks, let me share with you the wonderful people here in the studio who are responsible for the upcoming Ghana Day celebration or acknowledgement. Now, for those folks who've been watching Tell My Vision, or Tell Our Vision, they call it television, you should be familiar with these faces. In the studio, we have Dr. Gaya.
Dr. Rudy Goyan.
Dr. Rudy Goyan.
Good evening.
Yes, nice to meet you, my brother. We do handshake and not palm shake. Wonderful. And my beloved sister, Sister Penda, right here with us. Okay, nice to meet both of you. It's an honor having both of you here in the studio in this program called Creator Family with You.
Great.
I want to also bring to your awareness that matrimony is the fever, so to speak, or is the event that is being expressed on this day. Dr. Guyan, tell us, when did this matrimony thing first start planning and started in Guyana?
Well, my brother, I can give you a date, whether that was the first date, that was in 1959. We met at either King Street or Wellington Street. I'm not sure which is, because that time I was very, very young. I was a teenager. But anyway, let me give you the actual form, what happened. As youngsters, we got involved in everything that was going on in Guyana. The youths were very much involved. So we had a youth organization called the Progressive Youth Club that was in Lodge. And we were invited to this cycle shop in, I think, King Street. And there we had, that time wasn't the president, Burnham. We had the scouts. At that time there was a scout, we had Scoutmaster who controlled it for the entire country. And he was a Portuguese person. he was there, and quite a lot, I think, Llewellyn John was there, because in those days, Brittany Ben, everybody seemed to come together in those days when things were happening in Guyana.
Wonderful.
And we were there, and they were talking about planning, but I think there was an underlying thing that people would think that it's Burnham's birthday. That's what, at that time, that they were trying to, that's why the date was done. But I remember that, and the person who sits inside of me, she was there, but she can't remember. She was 14 years old. We had just met.
14 years of age at that time?
We had just met.
Congratulations.
Yes. We were very young. In fact, she came from Buxton, came into London.
This is a Buxton sister sitting next to you?
Exactly.
No.
So we all, but what is remarkable is the involvement of youth in everything in this country at that time.
Wow, the youth.
Youth were always, we were invited to everything, we were there. But at the time, no, it was just another thing for us. But today, this is what it developed into. We were making history and didn't know it. But everything is history in the fire analysis, and there we were.
Wonderful. Sister Penda, tell us about Ghana Day.
Well, Ghana Day, as you know, it's a celebration.
You can come forward and speak.
It's a celebration that was done in 1957.
1957
yes,
in Guyana?
Yes.
Congratulations. Yes. Come on.
Yes. Because we celebrated when Ghana became independent. It was the first African country on the continent of Africa to have gained its independence.
Hey, come on, whoa, wow.
So because our founder leader was a Pan-Africanist with Kwame Nkrumah, CLR James, everybody, we celebrated it here in Guyana. And it was a celebration. It was done throughout all the villages. They would put up a Ghana Day Queen. They would come out, decorate the carts, and they'll be on it, having a wonderful time. They'll go to the field, the ground, whether it's the ball field or whatever. And the night prior, they will go beat the drums, celebrate at midnight, and then the next day, they will have the procession through the village. Wow. It was a wonderful, wonderful occasion, and everyone celebrated. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we continue to celebrate it here in Guyana. We did not stop. It was not just 1957 and that was it. We continued celebrating Ghana Day every year until it died a death. But then I was made to understand that the death came because of the political trend. It was one of our politicians, Sister Winifred Gaskin, who felt that if we discontinued it, they would attract the other ethnic groups into the PNC at the time. Yes. So Ghana Day was shelved. And it was in 2011, with the International Year for People of African Descent, that I was assisting Sister Eve Blackman on Channel 9, and we were wondering what could we do, and we both decided that it would be wonderful to give Ghana Day a try once more. So we decided to give Ghana Day a try. Because it had not been celebrated for so many years, we decided that maybe 50 persons would be adequate. We had to close the gate because we ran out of food, seating, accommodation, everything. And so that was the rebirth. And the following year, the same thing, well, we didn't run out, but we outgrew the space. Wonderful. And so we then moved on to Congress Place. And that's where we've been ever since. This is our 9th year of hosting.
9th year?
9th year since.
And the highest number in the world is 9. Come on. Come on. Mathematics. Come on.
Yes, this is the 9th since.
Very symbolical. I like that.
Given it its rebirth. And we're looking forward to it. This year, it poses to be really wonderful because we have a number of queens coming from West Coast Berbice, from Good Intent, from Georgetown. You know, they're representing various villages.
How can they get involved, though, to ahead of time, like for the next year? like people who want to participate from other
Oh,
communities?
yeah, we would love that, and that is what we're working on. We have, I can give my number if
Please
it's
do.
okay by you.
There's always,
It
this
is 218-0151, and we have some numbers here on the flyers.
Okay.
We have 688-2915. We have 602-2621. Am I going too fast?
No, you're not.
And 1702-1702. So that's 694-1702.
And before this program ends this evening, okay, I'm going to mention my numbers, which you can call me, and I will forward that information.
Thank you very
So
much.
we're going to take a look at the promo again and come forward with more information pertaining to Emperor Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, Mashramani, and Ghana Day. Stay with us, folks.
It's here again, the 9th annual Ghana Day celebrations in this 5th year of International Decade for African People, Sunday, March 3, 2019. The action starts at the Square of the Revolution with the Queen's Parade at 9:30 in the morning, assembly time 8:30 a.m. It proceeds along a guided route into Congress Place, Sophia for the celebrations from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Guest speakers:
Freedom is not to remove the chains from our feet and our hands. It is making the brains free of previous influences.
Reflect on the progress which we've already made, the struggle, the sacrifices, the punishment.
Secondary school education competition, poetry, drumming, dancing, arts and crafts, cultural foods, and more. The 9th annual Ghana Day celebrations, Sunday, March 3, Congress Place, Sophia. Adults $500, children 11 years and under $200. It's here again, the 9th annual Ghana Day celebrations in this 5th year of International Decade for African People, Sunday, March 3, 2019. The action starts at the Square of the Revolution with the Queen's Parade at 9:30 in the morning, assembly time 8:30 a.m. It proceeds along a guided route into Congress Place, Sophia for the celebrations from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Guest speakers:
Freedom is not to remove the chains from our feet and our hands. It is making the brains free of previous influences.
Reflect on the progress which we've already made, the struggle, the sacrifices, the punishment.
Secondary school education competition, poetry, drumming, dancing, arts and crafts, cultural foods, and more. The 9th annual Ghana Day celebrations, Sunday, March 3, Congress Place, Sophia. Adults $500, children 11 years and under $200.
Wow, look at that. Woo! Yes, 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 beautiful. Gentlemen, precious ladies and learning students, you're watching Creator Family with you. And in the studio, we have some attractive people. I'm not the only one here that's attractive, folks, okay? We have some attractive people here in the studio that is educating us, edificating us, inspiring us about things pertaining to beautiful people of this country called Guyana. Now, Dr. Guyana, you were saying earlier about concerning, was it Ghana Day or Mashramani you were about to talk about?
No, I would like to say something about the quality of depth of
Oh,
Ghana,
my culture, yeah.
Ghana Day. Many people look at Ghana Day and say, oh, another cultural occasion. This is much more than a cultural occasion or a cultural program.
Right.
Ghana Day is a program where the Africans in Guyana tried to get in touch with not only themselves, but their ancestors.
Yes.
For ancestors.
Yes.
For ancestors.
We find that one cannot understand oneself until one is actually in touch with our ancestors. And we realize that this whole program of colonialism was to cut us away from our ancestors. What Ghana Day is doing is the first thing we try to do is to say, first, understand self. And when we understand self, then we understand all the things connected to self. And we realize that most of the Africans in Guyana, not all, but most of the Africans in Guyana are really ethnic Ghanaians.
Oh, wow.
And we are saying that as ethnic Ghanaians, we have a certain right, not only in this country, but internationally, because all national institutions protect ethnic minority, and that is very important for Guyanese to know.
Yes.
Because as an ethnic minority, we are protected. So we want to emphasize that particular quality of ours, we are ethnic minority, and as ethnic minority, we have certain rights provision on the United Nations.
What makes us minority and not majority when you use the word minority?
That, I tell you what, the word minority or the words minority, majority usually clash. And the reason why many Africans, we live quite a lot of our time in California. And one of the reasons why the Africans in California did not claim their national minority right, because they say we are not a minority in the world. But sometimes certain realities we have to face. And right now we're saying, although in this space called Earth, we are the majority. We're saying this minute space called Guyana. Even in this, we have been made a minority. But in reality, if you think of it seriously, we were and always been the majority. Because for 200 years, at the start of this land, of this nation, we were the majority.
Okay. Let me make this point very quickly about Washington. What are you getting out of this?
Of Mashramani?
Yes.
Well, we're celebrating. So it's now I know that you have some distinguished guests on the program here, because I'm now fitted. So for the ones them that now tune in, remember we're celebrating Mashramani.
That's right.
And we're keeping it real. So this is what we are about together. Togetherness. Nice of you to be in here, and this is what we celebrate. Creator Family is here with you. So we bearing that in mind. Time is preciously going. So let's maintain our time.
Yes, it is. There are some people we want to give thanks for making this world problem. Tell us about this brother right here. I like how you talk about him. Yes.
Troy Azor. This guy is one of the forest-born artists.
Yes.
And Guyanese artists that did things and continue to do things. So Troy, big up yourself any which part of them, but tonight we celebrating Mash, and we celebrating 49 years of our cooperative republic, and we have Ghana Day that would be coming up also, and we will be celebrating that.
You can never have any final words on Emperor LFS Burnham. Never. No final words. There's no such thing as no final words.
With the emperor, with that emperor?
No.
That didn't ban this and didn't ban that. and people say that he banned this and he banned that and he was bad. So most of the things that people say bad actually end up being the better thing for us. They tell you don't heat this, and when you heat it, you end up with it. Then you realizing that it's too late. So we're going with facts and we're going with the truth.
I like that.
Right.
What's it? Sister Pender, would you like to say it?
Well, yes. I mean, talking about the emperor, there's none other as far as I'm concerned.
None.
Like him.
Yep, he's the only one in the Americas.
I mean, he was ahead of his time, and we are seeing it today.
Oh, the manifestation, the fulfillment,
You know, everything is coming out, all of the things that he wanted us to do. I mean, one of the things, even our, how do you say,
Oh, yeah. Now you can tell our vision.
Our vision. All right.
Tell our vision.
Our vision.
Even our vision.
Yes.
He made it clear. We don't want any of this taking place in our country until we are producing our own programs, until we have our own technology to do so.
Yes.
As soon as he closed his eyes, what did they do? Funnel in all the garbage that can come into this place.
But Washington, please, you gotta have the final words on this one. You said, whoa. You hear that? Whoa.
Well, if time. We have like 20 seconds remaining. So I'm gonna just use 5 of that. Burnham started aluminium. The emperor started the aluminium plant in Linden. So and I tell you, their factory down there. So if he did it from then, you could imagine what's going to happen now.
And folks, we never run out of time. We just run out of minutes within the time. Because we are time. This is our time. So I want to say thank you so much for participating at home, calling folks, viewing this program, and you can see a repeat broadcast of this on YouTube. It will be posted. It's a live stream. My numbers are 693-3388. Again, 693-3388. Please call me if you want to be part of the live audience or you want to sponsor this program so we can have extended minutes within the time so that you can be reformed in your education. This is the opportunity. Remember this, remember that, remember it. Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, Dr. Haynes with Health and Healing. Friday at 5 o'clock, Dr. Yates with Bible Quiz. And Saturday evening, as we chill, better than chilly, we have what? Creator Family with you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you,
it's here again, the 9th annual Ghana Day celebrations in this 5th year of International Decade for African People, Sunday, March 3, 2019. The action starts at the Square of the Revolution with the Queen's Parade at 9:30 in the morning, assembly time 8:30 a.m. It proceeds along a guided route into Congress Place Sophia for the celebrations from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Guest speakers.
Freedom is not to remove the chains from our feet and our hands. It is making the brains free of previous influences.
Reflect on the progress which we've already made, the struggle, the sacrifices, the punishment.
Secondary school education competition, poetry, drumming, dancing, arts and crafts, cultural foods, and more. The 9th annual Ghana Day celebrations, Sunday, March 3, Congress Place, Sophia. Adults $500, children 11 years and under $200.
Bring you in. To break away, so we can jump and celebrate. Only one night to be friend, vetting without restriction. The rum and the flag they in beyond, and are ready to get on. Oh boy, so now we on the road again. The stage will never be the same. Boy, every friend calling me name. Put your hand in the air and take a jump in me. Only all night on the road, we jumping, whining away. All the big bum bum. All be
already.